I'm Phil Bolton with the Global Atlanta News Service, and I'm with Martin Rickerd, the British Consul General to the Southeast U.S. Welcome, Martin.
Thank you, Phil.
How have you enjoyed your tour these past 4 years?
It's been a fantastic opportunity to get to know a very interesting part of the U.S. This is my first assignment in the U.S., so I was really pleased to be somewhere where it's so warm and welcoming in every sense of the word. My job's taken me around 6 states of the Southeast, so I've had a great opportunity to get to know this part of the country.
As Consul General, what are your responsibilities?
I have a mixture of responsibilities. The one that's the statutory responsibility is to look after the welfare of British nationals who live here and visit, should they need our assistance. Attached to that, we have a range of responsibilities, including promoting British business in the sense of trying to get more investment from the US into the UK and trying to promote British exports to the US. We also have a lively relationship on the scientific and academic side, promoting links between universities and research institutions and so on. And that plays into the commercial relationship as well. And then on the policy side, I spend a good deal of time talking to governors and mayors, political leaders, opinion formers generally, about domestic policy issues ranging from urban regeneration to public transportation issues, sharing our knowledge on those sort of issues, to the big ticket international issues like climate change, global warming, and the big international issues of the day like the Middle East and Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Just generally speaking, have you found the officials and business people that you've been involved with inward looking, or do you think that they do have a global perspective today?
I think they do have a very broad global perspective. I think one catchline for Atlanta could be Southern charm, global reach, because I think it's a place where they are welcoming to the rest of the world and they understand the need to have a real international approach to dealing with people from other countries. And that's replicated around the rest of the region as well. And let's face it, the Southeast wouldn't be the success that it is without the foreign investment that's come in.
In terms of that foreign investment, we hear so much about trips to India, trips to China, the rise of Asia, 21st century being the Asian century. Do you feel that Europe has been somewhat neglected or taken for granted?
No, I don't think so. I think, I mean, if you look at the record of where people like Governor Perdue in Georgia and Mayor Franklin from Atlanta have been, yes, they've been to India and China more often than they've been to Europe, but they still know that the relationship between the US and the European Union is extremely strong, both politically and economically. And the huge amount of business just across the Atlantic far outweighs the business between the US and India and China on a daily basis. So there is still a lot of business to be done with Europe, and I think people recognize that you don't neglect your old friends when you're trying to make new ones.
Have you gone with the governor or the mayor on any of these trips?
Yes, I was fortunate enough to be in Northern Ireland when Governor Perdue visited there as part of his European visit in 2007. And he did, I think, about 4 countries on that trip. And he sat down in Northern Ireland for 24 hours. So I went with him as he went to see the political leaders in Belfast. And we saw the dock where the Titanic was built. And of course there's an Atlanta connection there because the remnants of the Titanic are stored here now. And he had a chance to see at first hand the vibrant economy that's being built there on the, I was going to say on the rubble, but against the troubled background of that province for over a number of years.
When you came, the economy was in good shape. There was a lot of activity, a lot of investment. And in recent months and in the course of the past year and a half or so, we've had this recession. Has that affected your work in any way?
Yes, I mean, clearly the opportunities for new investment in any country are different than they were a year ago or 2 years ago. But there are still opportunities out there. If you look in the right niche. We found opportunities in the field of renewable energy, for example, which is a policy priority for the British government, but it's also an area of great potential economic growth. So dotted around the southeast there are a number of new startup companies producing biodiesel, looking at the new forms of energy, and that's an area where we want to encourage cooperation with British companies. So there are a number of good fits there. And earlier this week I was up in Nashville, Tennessee, talking to some healthcare companies, some of whom already have links with the UK, others who are willing and interested to explore new links. So I think the opportunities are still there, but they're maybe not quite the same as they were a couple of years ago.
For instance, in the clean energy area, when your government makes that a particular objective, how do they go about encouraging businesses to get involved and to experiment?
I think it's a matter of saying that the economy that comes out of this recession is not going to be the same what that went into it. It'll be leaner, it'll probably be a lot greener, and if you want to be ready for the takeoff when things start getting better, you've got to start looking at producing things more sustainably, you've got to look at new ways of producing energy. People don't want to buy the same gas-guzzling vehicles as they used to 3 or 4 years ago. So a number of things are changing. So it makes good economic sense to look at these new markets. Added to which, the economic development departments themselves are encouraging local industry to get more involved in these fields.
Have you reached out to our educational institutions, for instance, Georgia Tech, that has initiatives in this area?
Sure, and I'm glad you mentioned Georgia Tech in particular, because they have a three-way collaboration with Imperial College in London and the Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee, investigating the possibilities particularly for cellulosic ethanol. And there's a very, very high-tech data streaming transfer equipment. I don't quite understand it, but the three-way links with institutions in London and Tennessee, which maybe one day will have the breakthrough that we're all looking for on the renewable energy side. That's just one example, and I mean, we had a delegation of British companies specializing in vaccines came out last year and had a lot of useful discussions at Emory about the work they're doing there on vaccines. And in other academic institutions around the southeast I've come across, there are all sorts of links. They have student exchanges with universities in the UK. I went to Montevallo University in Alabama and discovered more than a dozen British students there on sports scholarships, and we had no idea they were there. So really, wherever you go, there are links between institutions of all sorts here and in the UK.